I grew up on a farm, more of an acreage really. We had a few cows, pigs, and chickens, and a tractor. Some of the trappings of a farm, but it wasn't meant for production. Just part of the pleasure my dad found by living in the country. With this lifestyle came a certain sensibility toward animals. Don't get too attached, because that cow might be on your dinner plate soon. One of my chores was to feed the beasts. And while I did give them names, I followed the instruction and didn't form bonds with any of them. This rule was also applied to dogs. Farm dogs came and went. We never bought a dog. They just showed up on the property on their own. I remember my mom's dismay when my brother-in-law purchased a dog. Can you believe he went and paid good money for a dog? The year was 2015. In comes Hank, a pitiful-looking rescue dog that my wife brought home that she paid good money for. He was skinny, with a patchy coat and skittish toward everyone. I thought to myself, what on earth did she see in this mutt? But Hank slowly began the process of adjusting to his new home. Hank quickly became my dog, sort of like the many farm dogs I had as a kid. I had no idea how attached I would come to that animal. My wife spent 8 months at home in hospice care as she succumbed to the cancer that eventually took her life. On the day she died, Hank immediately went into her room, jumped up on her bed, and began to sniff her lifeless body. Then he laid down there until the representative from the funeral home came to take her away. I told his vet about it, and she said, one of the pack died, and he was just making sure it was final so he could let her go and not wonder what happened. Dogs need closure too. That dog became my constant companion. If I went outside, I knew to leave the door open because he would be quick behind me. And on the day he wasn't, I knew something was wrong. Hank had been declining for a couple of weeks. His breathing became labored, and a visit to the vet showed fluid on his lungs. It was apparent he was very sick. On Tuesday, I took laundry downstairs, and Hank followed me down like always. When I brought the basket back up, I realized he hadn't come with me. He was lying motionless on his stomach. He was barely breathing. My gut knew it was time for him to be relieved of his suffering. On Thursday, March 13th, 2025, Hank passed quickly and peacefully at the hand of his vet. I witnessed a beautiful transition thanks to her. My faith informs most everything I do in life and regarding death. 2 words from Romans 8 make sense of my pain today. The children and the creation. Think a boy and his dog, a child with his 4-legged companion. A child can become attached to an animal easily. For a child to learn at an early age how to take care for something living is an important part of his development. The animal doesn't have the capacity to live in its potential like it can with the assistance of a caregiver. My faith tradition holds to a belief that there is a mutual benefit between children and creation. Today, as a 61-year-old child, I was given the task of taking care of a dog's life and ultimately its death. Hank looked to me to feed him, clean up after him, and he trusted me to know when it was time for him to go. My faith is rooted in the belief of redemption and restoration. All living things die. Death is the great equalizer of all life and humanity. No one escapes. But death always gives way to new life, and what is seen now partially will be fully known on the other side of death. Will I see Hank again someday? I don't know the answer to that. I assume I'll only know after I leave this body behind. But I take comfort in knowing that I played a part in caring for the creation that was given to me to steward, and I cared for that little beast all the way to the end.